let's carry the nose and mouth just a bit further. We'll do this, round up the bulb of the nose, maybe define the nostrils just a bit. Before we go on to develop some of the other things, we'll just carry the head a little bit further. And then coming on the bottom of that nose, we just sort of make a flat plane there without any indentation to speak of. And then we take the end of our tool and we just poke in there to make that nostril, just like that. Just poke it in, just like that. That makes a nice nostril shape. You can see how much fun detail will be when we get to that stage. But if you don't have the clay built up, ready to work on it, then the detail would be very nice indeed, but it wouldn't have the right structure under it. So that's more important. Now I'm building up the upper mouth area, that upper part of the mouth barrel, just a little bit, and smoothing that out. We're going to carry this just a bit further, just a little bit. All right, having smoothed off this upper lip, now we know that the mouth changes direction and goes back in this way. We can probably round out this center part of the upper lip just like that. And we'll also tuck some of this side part of the mouth back under and in. We'll take some of this clay and make a little round piece for the center of the mouth. Just like that. And just tuck it down. Okay, we'll take a little bit and more and add it out to the side just like this, laying it onto the clay and then blending it down into the corner of the mouth like this. And do the same thing on this side. And tuck those corners of the mouth in. Alright, sometimes we'll want to use our fingers and just use them to get our shapes correct. Okay, we can do a lot of things now. We can open this mouth up a little bit if we want to. Let's lower that chin just a little bit, make it a little more pointed, a little more interesting there. You can see that once you get your large shapes in, you can begin to have a little fun and get more expression in some of these features. What I would do at this point would be make sure that I had enough facial projection on both sides, that both cheeks projected the same amount. It's not good to look at it and see one cheek out this far and the other one sunk back in. So you want to look at the configuration of the face and see if there's something that needs to be altered at this time to make a more symmetrical look. Also, I think I'd like to fill in this forehead up here just a bit and smooth it out. Now, I'm not doing my detail, but I'm just enhancing this before I do any more with putting hair on. Okay. So, and if there's anything I need to blend up, let's say I want to skinny up that face a little bit, I'm able to do that. All right. One thing I think I'd like to do at this point, though, is let's lift that chin just a little bit. Let's, in fact, I think we could probably take our prop out at this point. And we'll just give her a little more center front of the throat. One of the beautiful parts of a person's throat is coming from the ear right down to this hollow at the base of the throat. It's almost like an ice cream cone shape that we see, sort of a cone shape coming down here. Nice and smooth. Unless we're older, it's probably a nice smooth form. So let's make it smooth. And I think we'll turn it just a dab and develop our chin just a little more. Now that we've placed the eyes, we can put a little more movement into this head. Give her, develop that chin a little more there since we've dug it out. Okay. Then there's a muscle strap that comes down the side of the throat, and it comes down to that hollow, down to the collarbone. Same thing on this side. Depending on the way our head is turned, it might be more prominent, but let's just put it a little prominent, and we can subdue it if we must. Okay, just build this out just a little more. I'd like to turn the head now and get a little different attitude, just a little different look. Okay, at this point I am going to stand now and we'll develop the head. Okay, at this point what I'd like to do is develop the hair mass to its final fullness so that the piece can be hollowed. And so I'll take my hands and I'll sweep that hair back in the direction that it would be combed if I were combing it up to a place that the bun would be. From the side of the head, back of the ears, from the base of the neck, just sweeping that clay in the direction it would come if it were being combed in this direction. That's important that your hair follow the direction it would follow if it were being combed. All right, so let's just look at that skull now and see if we've got a nice full skull. It's very important to look from the top of the skull and around this way, because then if there's a hollowed out place, you can fill it in. So we'll just do that. I've decided not to do that part, but just to come back from the forehead back to this area. What I'd like to do now is put a little prop behind the head. Don't ever be afraid to use a prop. You see, now she's leaning back, and now the balance needs to be right back here. As you look at this clay, you think that it's very unstable, but as the clay firms up just a bit, and as it dries out, it will hold its shape, and then you'll be able very easily just to cut out this prop. So let's just look at that skull. And how it sweeps over the ears. In fact, we may even have it coming over the top of the ear just a bit. Just a little bit coming over there. All right, so now I need to build me a bun. And I'll just turn the piece and I'll just put a nice big bun on here. we'll just let this be a ballet dancer. Take all our extra clay and begin to, don't worry about the prop, that's going to come out very shortly. It would be very good if periodically you would remove excess clay from your table, because it keeps you from seeing the overall shape of the piece. So you'll just take that excess clay and wedge it together. Just put it back into a nice firm ball and put it back into your sack. Then you'll have that clay to use later. Okay, so let's just put that back. And begin to look at the overall shape of the shoulders just a little bit, forgetting about that prop, not letting it be a hindrance to us in any way as we look at the overall shapes. And so we just decided just to cut that off and cut it back. It's kind of nice to cut back away like this to have an ending point when you're doing one of these head studies. So let's just take some of that away. And as you see, if you've moved all that extra clay, you can begin to see the overall form much better. When you have a lot of clay sitting around, it's very difficult to get the whole picture. So that's the reason we do remove it. All right, now I'm just going to check this over, possibly turning her chin just a little more this way, just to get a little nicer attitude there. Maybe propping just a little bit more since I've moved it so it doesn't move. Once I've made a final decision on the way the head would be turned, I will leave this prop and not move it again until everything has firmed up to a leather hard stage.